Hello everyone. Today I'll be diverging a little from the State Bird series to celebrate American independence by putting a spotlight on some of our most patriotic birds, the red, white, and bluebirds of the United States. While few live up to the patriotic symbol status of the bald eagle or even the wild turkey, these birds have gone so far as to match their colors to those of our nation's flag, and it's time they receive their due credit. This list will contain some, but not all, of our most loyal citizens from mountains, prairies, and shining seas in the United States. Beginning with one of the most vibrant patriots, the summer tanager is the only bird in the United States to be completely red. They are native to the southern United States, but their range pushes up to the Midwest. One of our bravest soldiers, the summer tanager is a bee and wasp specialist, providing much needed cover during our 4th of July barbecues. A close relative of the summer tanager, the scarlet tanager is another flag-mimicking red bird. Best distinguished from the summer tanager by its black wings, this species is native to the Northeast and Midwest and provides another flash of bright red color to the American forests. Like the summer tanager, the scarlet tanagers will rake their prey against a wooden surface to remove any stingers before consumption. Another fully red bird, which will be familiar to many, is the northern cardinal. Prevalent throughout much of the eastern United States, the cardinal is a staple of the forest soundscape and many backyard feeders. So much so that the northern cardinal is the state bird for 7 different states. Birds don't have to be entirely covered in red to show their patriotism, however. Many show off with small patches around their body. The red-winged blackbird, for example, is mostly black but shows some of its American pride with red wing patches on its shoulders. These birds can be found throughout the U.S. year-round, although different populations often show slight differences in size and proportions. Certain woodpeckers and sapsuckers have shown nationalist streaks in their red adornments. Such examples as the red-headed, red-cockaded, and red-bellied woodpeckers have their color in their name, but many species like the downy, hairy, and pileated woodpeckers celebrate with little red streaks. Sapsuckers are much the same, with such examples as the red-breasted and red-naped sapsucker. These species of woodpeckers and sapsuckers can be found throughout much of the U.S. and embody the hard-working spirit of the American people. Another example of the American spirit, the house finch, is a brightly colored red finch which has spread across the continent in the last 100 years. Initially relegated to the western portion of the United States, house finches were introduced by pet salesmen to the eastern U.S. in the 1940s and have since spread throughout the country. A relative of the house finch, this list would be remiss if it didn't include the red crossbill. Crossbills are dependent on pine seeds for survival, and their crossed bill shape allows them to get into even the most tightly closed cones. This beautiful species can be found at times throughout the U.S., but they are mostly contained to the plentiful pines of the Rocky Mountains. Our last and my favorite red species is the vermilion flycatcher. Native to the southern states of the U.S., the vermilion flycatcher is certainly an eye-catcher above all others. This species, like many other flycatchers, is known to wander large distances, at times ending up as far north as Minnesota. No stranger to chivalry, male vermilion flycatchers will present their potential mates with gifts like colorful insects. The white birds of the United States are just as beautiful and perhaps even more numerous than the red birds. Our first stunning white bird group are the great and snowy egrets. These two species overlap for much of their ranges, but the great egret can be more often found farther north into the Midwest. Both white, they are best identified by their size and the color of their feet and bills. Where great egrets have yellow bills and black feet, snowy egrets have black bills and yellow feet. Another group of fans of the stars and white stripes are our winter snowbirds, the trumpeter swans, and snow geese. These birds are generally some of the first migrants in the spring and last migrants in the winter. The snow goose can be found on either coast or right through the middle of the United States as it migrates farther north. In contrast, the trumpeter swan is found in scattered pockets across the U.S. Covered head to toe in white, trumpeter swans embody the loyalty we value in America, as pairs often mate for life. We also can't forget all of the white gulls who have embraced the colors of Old Glory. Among those gulls are the black-legged kittiwake, Bonaparte's gull, and Franklin's gull. These 3 gulls differ greatly in their preferred ranges, as the Franklin's gull is largely an inland species, the black-legged kittiwake sticks to the coasts, and Bonaparte's gull can be found throughout the entire U.S. Regardless of the species or range, any birder who sees these flocks of these species is sure to be reminded of their love for this country. Our last white group, and a close relative of the gulls, America is home to populations of terns who seem eager to express their patriotism. These heroes include the least tern, Forster's tern, and Caspian tern. While the Caspian tern is more easily found on the coasts, both Forster's and the least tern have populations that can be found in the Great Plains. These fearless birds are known for diving headfirst into the water to catch their prey, embodying yet another American virtue. None other than the American bluebird could be the first on our list of the most patriotic bluebird species in the U.S. These species, such as the mountain and eastern bluebird, are charismatic and often visit feeders, capturing the hearts of many. As described in the name, eastern bluebirds are generally found east of the Rocky Mountains, while mountain bluebirds are generally found on top of them. Interestingly, mountain bluebirds tend to select unoccupied woodpecker holes or man-made birdhouses rather than make new nests, and the females will often choose a male for the quality of his home rather than his song. Just as beautiful and charismatic as the bluebirds, the indigo and lazuli buntings are another patriotic favorite for their brilliant flag blue colors. Generally, indigo buntings are found in the eastern states, while lazuli buntings are found in the west. Also frequenters of the feeders, these species are known for their bright colors and beautiful songs. Fascinatingly, lazuli buntings are known to have their own distinct call, often made up of sounds from other neighboring male buntings. Related to the buntings is the blue grosbeak. Native to the southern states and Great Plains, the blue grosbeak provides a stark contrast to the tan and green of the prairie landscape. A newcomer to the far northern states in the last 200 years, the blue grosbeak has likely benefited from the clearing of forests during human westward expansion. The blue jay is another species after the American heart. With a blue head and white stripes, the blue jay maybe most closely resembles the Star-Spangled Banner of any species on this list. Blue jays can be found throughout the eastern United States year-round and are a welcome flash of color in the winter months. Jays, along with other corvids, are some of the smartest birds and are known to create and use tools in captivity. Another American classic bluebird is the tree swallow. Known for its shimmering blue back and white belly, these swallows are a staple of fields, marshes, and lakes across the U.S. Often seen in areas without trees, they get their name from their tree nesting sites. The last of the American bluebirds, and one that I feel is well worth the wait, the cerulean warbler. This beautiful warbler species lives in the eastern United States, but is becoming more rare as its population is in continual decline, and they have since been declared as near threatened by the IUCN Red List. Cerulean warblers are one of our most beautiful and patriotic birds, and keeping their populations healthy may mean taking active steps like preserving viable breeding habitats to help our fellow Americans. Our last species, which may strike a chord of nostalgia for those watching at home, is the greater roadrunner. This species, while mostly black and white, has managed to add a little bit of red, white, and blue to its striking plumage. Carrying a little flag around with him wherever he goes, the greater roadrunner is the perfect example of a true patriot. While red, white, and bluebirds may be among the most patriotic species, there are many more bird species that are just as American. These species range from widely abundant to relatively rare, but protecting them all means maintaining the health of the U.S. ecosystems. So between hot dogs and fireworks, this 4th of July, make sure to remember some of our fellow patriots across the U.S. Happy Independence Day.